Okay, so now I'm gonna get a little greedy and work on one of my projects. I thought, okay, if I was gonna do marketing outreach to people, what would this look like? Okay, so I'm familiar with my particular consulting practice, and then I got some pretty decent marketing materials, and see what Claude can do with what I have. How lazy can I be? Some of this stuff. So I was like, all right, let's just dump in the world, right? So I got all these PDFs. Yeah, no problem at all. Put like a little bio in there, CV. There's some case studies, 2 or 3 different offerings that I like to provide to people. And that's it as a fractional CTO. Identify ideal customers for outreach on email, social media, LinkedIn, whatever else you got. Focus on lower middle market, backed by smart money, C-suite, and people who want to learn about agentic AI. Compile a list of potential leads and what channels would be best, and then maybe some ads I can run. I don't know. Just see what happens. And so I thought, and I put, deep research and thinking, and spent almost 7 minutes, surfed the web pretty hard. And then it said, oh, you're doing business development. Here you go. So it guessed what I was doing. It said, hey, you want to do a biz dev thing? Oh, and this is kind of cool. You can approve or explain. So if I hit explain, it's going to go explain that to me. Oop. Oh man, message limit length. So I definitely hit a limit there. Okay. We'll come back to that. So it said, mid-market and growth stage, and it gave me some advice, expand the universe. I said, okay, at some point, I said, what did I say? Open the revenue scope from 5 to 200. And then I said, okay, there's version 7. And then 50 to 200 segments, the highest value. That's cool. So I rewrote, and there's version control here. You can see I've been futzing with it. These are all pretty smart things to say. High note. Okay, so now it's going to give me some examples of ideal customer profile. This is kind of fun. Tier 1, these people and why. And tier 2, they're in the market expansion phase. Tier 3, expertise transformation. And tier 4, market leadership consolidation. Okay. Multi-channel. Okay. What does it say? 86% of marketers reporting is their primary channel B2B executive outreach. Okay. Makes sense. Sales navigator. Okay. Yeah. LinkedIn. Explains why I get a lot of LinkedIn outreach. Okay. There we go. Campaign messaging, Google ads. I don't know. And then Google ads might be getting cheaper here after we get done with our podcast series. Market intelligence. Okay. Budget allocation. Okay. Some estimates on how much people willing to pay and monthly. This is pretty cool. Executing across the growth spectrum for value, channel prioritization. Okay. Geographic concentration. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. And then it said, let's see, what did I do next? Please dive deeper into tier 1 and 2. So it did. And then it said, here's version 9. And then it said, what did it say? It's kind of the same stuff. It's just editing. Tier 1 and 2 deep dive, highest ROI segments. Yep. The small ones. And then pain point, budget, like decision, speed, 2-3 months, so you can plan your pipeline spending of stuff. AI opportunity contact strategy. Yeah. And then here's your tier 2 ones. They're a little bit bigger. Oh yeah. That's interesting. Financial profile. How cool is this? And it just went out, just a wealth of information. And then here's here's how to set up your LinkedIn Sales Navigator for immediate. Here's an action plan for you. So here's email sequences by tier, industry. Oh, go to these event calendars. Okay. I don't know. I mean, some of these wouldn't be bad, but these are just, these are obviously examples of ideal conferences. These are good fodder for, what could be, how I should be thinking. I don't think this is exhaustive by any stretch. I think that's a pattern I've seen is it'll come back with like, hey, here's the top 10 or top 20 or top 4. Just, when we keep going, and then you have to tell it to please dive deeper. And then there's obviously a limit at some point of what it can give you. Oh, wow. So it even writes your little templates for outreach. This is awesome. Look at that. Here's a execution script. And I would love to kind of experiment with, hey, dump that out in a Notion and give me a calendar. I bet it would do it. Man, this is just amazing. TLDR. And then here's the highlights. Very cool. And it said, and then it asked me a leading question. Would you like me to dive deeper in anything specific? Prioritize which targets based on your network. on your network or industry connections. This is where it gets cool. Help me prioritize based on my network and industry connections. Yes. Also, I've given you the Apollo tool to go look up people's, it's just another thing I want to, another tool I want to add based on a couple conversations I had with people, trying to figure out. And it said, hey, you got really cool network connections at your day job, tech CXO. And then references some of my clients. Holy hell, that is so cool. I mean, that's true. I have very, very strong partners at Tech CXO. Contact preferences. How do you want me to go do this manhandle search at Apollo, and then where you want to work. And then I give it some narrowing advice, and it said perfect. And then it said, let me think some more for 10 minutes. Oh God. And here we are. And then it said, here's your new plan version. It's not even a version. It's a whole new document. Oh my God, look at this. It gave me key decision makers, why, pain point. Talk about ICP definition. I didn't even ask it to do that, but that's something a marketer would sit down and walk you through in a biz dev plan. Very, very sophisticated here. These are all fantastic companies, is ideal exemplar targets for people who might need help. And actually, if you work at any of these companies, give me a call. Love to help you out. That's so cool. Oh, wow. And it said, go to some of your clients, investors. And by the way, here they are. Oh, man, that's so awesome. Key industry events, emails. What a great world we live in. That started off pretty strong and got stronger. But how cool is that? Write your biz dev plan, but you do have to interact with it. You do have to guide it. You do have to tell it, what you need. I think the writing part of it is, everybody's writing is going to go, to the moon in terms of quality. I think the structured thinking and the strategy of all this is still super important, because if you got this tool, it can generate a lot of really wonky stuff if you give it the wrong direction to shoot out. So it's super important to be very precise with what you ask for. And I think, the experienced folks, like me and my partners are going to be in a good spot. And this is going to be a hell of a leverage for us in the way we think, because we know what it's supposed to look like. We're just it's a lot of work to get it there, and to have it this detailed is really impressive. Anyway, that's the thought on that, but this was an awesome one.